I am not a historian, but neither are you. So, how about we, the people, learn this stuff together? Welcome to US 101. And for today's episode, guys, we gotta take it back to basics, man. Back to basics for today. Okay, so how many times have we heard variations of the following come out of the mouth of the President of the United States?
Article 2 allows me to do whatever I want.
It gives me all of these rights at a level that nobody has ever seen before. We don't even talk about Article 2.
When somebody's the President of the United States, the authority is total.
Okay, and now, how many times have we heard the press say this in response to one of President Trump's claims?
I mean, Article 2 does lay out the executive powers, and they are broad, but it also has limitations in it.
Right, and so this idea that Article 2 is somehow some limitless residual pot of power is simply a fiction, and it's something that he's simply saying and trying to make it true by repeating it.
You said when someone is President of the United States, their authority is total. That is not true.
Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to write up papers on this. It's not going to be necessary.
Actually, Mr. President, we already do have papers and a report on what it is you're talking about. It's called the Constitution. You know what? Woosah, woosah. I just need to relax a bit, but I can't, y'all. I just can't. I taught civics this past semester when I was a student teacher, okay? And if I had told the students in my classroom that the president can do whatever he wants, not only would I have been thrown out of the school, but I also would not have received my teacher's license, which, by the way, I recently did. Woohoo! And here's the worst part about all of this, guys, is that depending on your stance when it comes to the president, you are either firmly in his camp and you 100% believe everything that comes out of his mouth, or you are vehemently against him. Like, the divide has never been more clear. And as a teacher whose job it is to properly educate the next generation of Americans, especially the next generation of Americans that can vote, it is beyond frustrating to see people take facts that we learned as kids, as children, and just toss them aside in order to double down on their love of a political party or president instead of doubling down on love of country first. So today, I've decided I'm taking it back. Like, way back, like all the way back to when you and I were kids. Back to when we were taught the fundamentals of how government works and who in government has the power to do what. Because honestly, guys, it's looking more and more like a lot of people need an elementary civics lesson once again. So, come with me. Why, hello, my little American Eagles. Oh, it's so good to see you again. I hope you're all ready for some learning today. Today, my little Eagles, we're gonna go on a fabulous adventure to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where we'll learn how all three branches of government work. Won't that be fun? Yeah, I'm so happy you're happy. Now, this document right over here, boys and girls, the Constitution of the United States of America, specifically states that there are three branches of the federal government. In fact, James Madison, one of our founding fathers, defended having three branches of government in an essay that he wrote called Federalist Number 51. And in that essay, he wrote, quote, "The accumulation of all powers, legislative, executive, and judiciary in the same hands, whether of one, a few, or many, may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny." Because remember, boys and girls, the United States had only recently become an independent nation after it had been ruled for a long time under Great Britain, which was a monarchy that had a king, and that king was all-powerful powerful and made all the decisions. So when the United States became independent, it didn't want to have a king. It didn't want to have one person making all the decisions for everything that happened in the brand new country. So they decided to split the power between three branches of government. So what are those three branches, my little American Eagles? Well, let's go through them. We have the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. You know what I just thought of? Wow, what a great idea. It might be a lot easier for you to remember those names of the branches of government if we put those names into a song. You know what? It's okay. We'll just hold off on the song for another time. All right, my little American Eagles. So, what does each branch of government do? Let's find out together. First, you have the legislative branch, which is the Congress. The Congress is made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate. There's 435 members of the House and 100 members of the Senate for a total of 535 legislators. Wow, 535, that's such a big number! Now, the main job of the legislative branch, boys and girls, is to make the laws. Also, the legislative branch is in charge of appropriating or assigning the money necessary to fund the government. They can also declare war and ratify treaties. Then you have the executive branch, which is headed up by the President of the United States. And the main job of the executive branch is to carry out the laws that were created by the legislative branch. See, they're working together. Also, the president is commander of the armed forces and the representative of the United States throughout the world. The executive branch also includes the vice president and the president's cabinet, which oversee executive departments like the State Department, the Defense Department, the Justice Department, and other important departments, as well as agencies and committees. The executive branch also negotiates treaties and conducts foreign policy. And finally, the third branch of the three branches of government is the judicial branch, which consists of the Supreme Court of the United States and other lower federal courts. Their job is to determine whether laws are constitutional through a process called judicial review. So those are the main jobs of every single branch of government. But wait, the president said that he could do whatever he wants. Now, is that true, boys and girls? No, of course not. In order to stop one branch of government from becoming too powerful, we have a series of what are called checks and balances. Checks and balances, my little American Eagles, means that one branch of government can stop another branch of government from going too far and overstepping its boundaries. Once again, one of our favorite constitutional framers, James Madison, wrote about the importance of checks and balances in the Federalist Papers. In framing a government which is to be administered by men over men, the great difficulty is this: you must first enable the government to control the governed, and in the next place, oblige it to control itself. So how do these branches of government check and balance each other? Well, let's find out, huh? So we know that the Congress, or the legislative branch, has the ability to make laws. But the president, who's the head of the executive branch, has the ability to veto or reject laws that the Congress wants to pass. But, and stay with me because this can get kind of tricky, if the president vetoes a law from the Congress, or the legislative branch, the Congress can override the president's veto with enough votes. Also, just so we don't leave out the judicial branch, they can declare laws made by Congress unconstitutional. Another way that the legislative branch can check the executive branch is through a process called impeachment. If the legislative branch believes that the president did something that they should not have done, also known as high crimes and misdemeanors, then they can impeach the president. The president is then put on trial in the Senate to determine if they should be removed from office or if they can stay president. And only 3 presidents throughout all of American history have been impeached, boys and girls. Can you name them? The first one was Andrew Johnson. The second one was Bill Clinton. And do you know who the third one was? Yeah, that's right. Donald Trump. Donald Trump was impeached. Never forget that, boys and girls. Other checks and balances in the government include the following. The president has the right to appoint people, like judges, but the legislative branch gets to approve the appointment. The president can carry out executive orders, but the judicial branch can determine whether those orders are unconstitutional. Also, Congress has the right to impeach judges and remove them from office. So as you can see, my little American Eagles, no one person or one branch has absolute power. Each branch of the government has the ability to check other branches so that their heads don't get too big or orange. So the next time someone tells you that the president can do whatever they want, you tell them that they're dead wrong and give them all the facts that you learned today. Oh, I'm so proud of you, my little American Eagles. Oh, you just make my heart feel so full of love. All right, gang, see you next time. Goodbye. Bye, everybody. I'll see ya. Bye. Yes, yes, that was unbelievably childish, and I do apologize if I accidentally insulted any of your intelligences. But guys, when we have a president, especially in an election year, who is telling people that he can do whatever he wants, he has total authority, sometimes explaining something in the most basic way possible is the best way to get through to someone. And that is it, my little American Eagles. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of US 101. I sincerely appreciate it. And thanks to all of you that have continued to subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share them. So little American Eagles. Should that be a fan club that I start? Would you guys join? I make like little pins and stuff like they did in the 30s and 40s for old radio shows. As always, you can follow US 101 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those links down below in the description box. Guys, I'll see you next week for an all-new episode of Us 101. Until then, I am all done. Maybe I should work on that song. Because that had me thinking about like what we should do. Like just, let's see. Like, oh no, that is wildly out of tune. I'm going to work on that. It's a legislative